Folks, we are live. Welcome to the Random Party Generator. I am one of your hosts, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. With me, stage right, my whatever. Next to me on the top square level is none other than chubby funster Greg.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho ho ho! Below us is Mr. Bat in the Attic, Rob Conley.
Hello, folks.
And slowly making his way here, hopefully sober to some extent, is none other than Joe the lawyer. He will randomly pop up when he gets here. Who knows who else may? Oh, there he goes. There we go.
Yo, yo. What's up?
Yo, yo, yo.
Are we live? Holy shit.
We're live, dude. We don't.
All right.
Why would we wait for you?
The Big Lebowski? Everybody waits for the dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the dude is religion, but we don't wait for the dude.
Oh God. What's going on, everybody? Sorry, I'm late. I got tied up reading a book on the deck in the sunset. I'm like, this is a fucking moment. I'm like, I saw the text. Oh shit, what time is it? It was nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I'll throw in a little announcement for next
Mhm.
Wednesday. Next Wednesday is going to be a very special live stream. If you've been following the Ken Whitman drama over the year,
Oh God.
we are going to have an actor that has worked with Ken, has been screwed over by Ken, as oh, it's going to, I expect I
wonder if he'll call in to make amends.
I'm listen, he's tried. He Ken Whitman, the last time we brought him up, sent me an email with his cell phone.
I'll have to
So
stay in the room
I
for
should
that.
text him and bring him on the show so he could explain. So
Nice.
yeah.
Explain. That's
So the audience wants to know, what book were you reading?
The War on Art by Pressman.
The War on
the War
Art.
on
It's
the
not
War
the
of
Art of
Art.
War.
No. The War of Art, I think it is. Let me see. It's the War of Art, breaking through the blocks and win your creative battles, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. So it's a simple but a really good book. It's like inspirational. It just puts up all your bullshit in your face as to why you're not doing something you say you want to do, but you're not doing. You know, all the crap that comes up. You know, so it's good. I got through almost the first third of it basically, and talks about all the resistances. You know, everything that all these different ways that you basically bullshit yourself to not doing something creatively. You know what I mean?
You mean like that module you always been writing?
Blood.
Yeah. All the
cemetery,
shit. All the shit. Yep.
Blood alcove.
Yep. The only thing I'm consistently writing is house rules. Other than that, I'm pretty much, that's about it.
You have a lot of house rules.
Yeah. But they're all good. They're all good house rules. So, but it's a fun book.
I'm closing in on the end of a book, the Shadow Rim, the adaptation I'm doing of Skyrim for Shadow Dark.
Nice.
Oh yeah, so you released Shadow Sun
almost a year ago. Yeah.
A year?
Yeah, it's been.
But didn't you release? Isn't there a second one, and this is the third one you're doing for Shadow Dark?
I released a bunch of smaller supplements that have been doing pretty good. Some couple of them are Electrum on drive-through. The expanded character options, which has a bunch of classes and new races and stuff, and then the equipment guide has been the most popular one because it brings a lot of the equipment stuff that I had in other games I've written, like Ambition and Avarice, and it brings in a lot of those ideas into Shadow Dark. Because, to me, one of the things I think is really a double-edged sword in Shadow Dark is the equipment management. So there's times when it frustrates me because I'm like playing in Joe's 2E game, and my guy's got a huge list of all these little things that he's carrying around, herbs and material components and this and that and this little bag of this.
Well, how many mules did you in your mule trainer at the moment?
I have one mule only, but he's starting to get way down with stuff. If we start really.
You count yourselves
tracking.
lucky I don't count encumbrances.
I
Like I
know.
should.
If Joe
You'd be
All right,
neck
first
deep
reach
in the
round of
fucking
the night.
swamp. You know.
John
Is-
Miller wants to know what's the advantage of Shadow Dark. Well, when I go to ShireCon and Joe acts up, I can smack him and it will work. Okay.
it is a formidable melee weapon. I believe at least 1d3 damage in combat. If Jason Bourne had that book in the battle in Morocco, he
Uh-huh.
would have finished off that guy a lot faster.
What's
That's
the
one of my
consistency?
favorite fights in Morocco, where he puts the book on the dude's face and then just slams it into
Yeah,
his face. Like,
yeah.
oh man, yeah, that's the role
But
playing game.
honestly, on a more serious note, the thing about Shadow Dark is a minimalist RPG, not as minimalist as say Microlight D20, but it's definitely around like OD&D, or maybe OD&D plus Greyhawk, and but the thing is, it's really hard to write a good minimalist anything because every single part of it now has to pull its weight. You can't have a weak spot. And Kelsey, when she wrote this, she didn't leave a weak spot. So it
No,
is
it's a very good job.
Yeah, it's very good.
I mean, if you like detail, it's probably not going to satisfy you. I mean, it's not going to be like GURPS level of detail or Harm Master, but some editions of D&D have a little bit more detail. So this doesn't have that, but
Hmm.
it's well done. It works, and and I guess the best example of the showed in action. If sometime tonight, if Eric, you could post a link to the live stream that we did. It works well in actual play.
We did a couple of live streams actually.
You did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 3. Jackson,
Yeah.
the first one, and then you ran one, Rob, and then I ran one. Where I was going with the thing about the equipment is I think that it would be really good as a survival game, which we've very little of in the role-playing game space, as a true survival game in the same way you get some in video game worlds. I really love this game called The Long Dark, which is fantastic, where you've been dropped in a Canadian wilderness and you have very little equipment. Like you're dealing with, okay, do I take this climbing rope with me, or do I take this extra can of water, or this jerry can of fuel? Like you're having to make really difficult equipment choices and moving around. If I don't, if you don't bring,
let's be clear, Greg. It's because Shadow Dark uses a slot system.
That's
strength gives me so many slots in which to carry equipment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, if you adapted that to some kind of environment like that, I think it could make for a really good zombie game where you have to make very difficult choices. I really like Free League Publishing stuff. I love Aliens, fantastic, but their Walking Dead game didn't really inspire me that much. My son really loves Walking Dead. We did the Kickstarter for it, and it has a series of mechanics where you never really defeat the enemy. You're just kind of working to evade them, So like there'll be you'll run into some zombies. You make some checks to see if you make failures, the zombies kind of gain in number and start to surround you more effectively. If you succeed on your checks, you get away. It's not like it's not like you're clearing them out of any area or anything like that. And so I felt like it kind of falls into some of the traps that I've seen in some story game designs, where you can never really achieve a victory. You're always getting a partial success, partial failure, partial success, partial failure. And I think you could make a really intense zombie game with Shadow Dark's chassis, where you really have to make hard choices. You could also do the same with the alien design, to stick with Free League's work, where like imagine it, you have to pick the 4 or 5 things you're going to be carrying on your person while you're running away from this alien. That's going to make a big impact on your success chances. Do I take this flamethrower cutting torch, or do I take this rope, or whatever? Like those could be critical decisions. That's what I think is really good about that slot system. It forces you to really go, which of these things is more important to me, and then leave stuff behind, which is hard to do when you're used to playing Dungeon
Oh,
Crawler.
I grab it all.
Yeah.
Behind.
I'm Nodwick. I carry everything 10 feet tall on my back. The Oak of Antioch. I lived in a Canadian national park for 10 years, including living in a cabin during a forest fire where the smoke was 4 inches, was thick 4 inches in the air? Or was it
4
feet?
feet. 4 feet.
I'm confusing my notations here. And panicked elk ran through the abandoned campsites. Well, now we know why you're the elk. So
Yeah.
Jesus. Greg, how is this slot system different than LOTFPs, where he has basically an encumbrance system built into an equipment system? You just get 10 things and all that kind of thing.
I think it's just more elegant design.
Okay.
Rather than having like in a sense, it's kind of like the difference between THACO and D20. It's just flipping the math around. So rather than having a number of items composing one, was it stone or encumbrance or whatever the unit is?
Yeah.
Stone is Adventure Conquer King, but like instead of having things adding up to one, it has most things are one, and then heavy things are multiples of one. So you have like a 3-point armor versus a 1-point dagger. It's just math. That's all. Yeah, I think it's.
Well, you lost me there, then, dude.
So many advantages of different role-playing game systems over one another are just clever switches in how the math calculates. I fell in love with Adventure Conquer King's throw system of just giving you a number and a plus sign. 12 roll 12 plus, roll at 18 plus, roll or whatever, and that gives you such clarity that you don't get with a lot of other commands from the GM.
What do you mean by throw system for AKS?
For Axe in the first one, I mean, this was way back in Google Plus days when I fell in love with Axe, and it would come out and it would just be like, if you have this proficiency and you want to try to do it, you just have to roll a 17 plus, or if you improve the proficiency, you have to roll a 13. So instead of having a thieves skills as a percentile or this as whatever, it just became a very clear notation that you could just communicate to somebody. Roll a 12 plus. It's so much simpler and clear. Even if it's the exact same mathematics as you have, a 60% chance. So roll a 12 plus. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same thing. I guess it would be reverse, 40%. You get what I'm saying. Like, it's just math. It's just numbers. And arranging.
For my skill system, the base, when you use a skill, the basic chance of success is 15 plus, and then you add whatever your skill bonus is and your attribute bonus, and that's what you roll. And I pretty much don't vary from that 15 plus.
Yeah, and I mean, one of my critiques of the D20 system as a whole is that there's very few things where you always have like a 5% chance of succeeding no matter what the odds, or failing no matter what the odds. But it's just things that people know, so it's easy to communicate.
Oh no, you guys dreaded the following words every time I said them in my campaign, even though it's
roll a 1.
Don't roll a 1.
Yeah. Well, Tim
kind of dreaded that.
Tim is particularly vulnerable to that. I mean,
Tim can be contagious.
He gave his luck to Joe the other week. Joe was rolling the worst rolls I've seen him roll in so
that was
long.
Bad. That was real bad. You guys got lucky because of it, but it was bad.
Oh yeah, we probably would have lost another guy or something.
Yeah, that was a shit show.
We would have had a bad problem with that hag.
I mean, not that I'm like disappointed I don't kill you guys, but
yes,
I'm going to put you in fear of. You know what I mean? You're all like that. I mean, Jesus Christ, man.
No I didn't think the Staff of the Woodman was. I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was that good.
Yeah. No, it's not bad. It's definitely not bad.
Well, I may be revealing a little secret here, but Eric commented that he thinks you may have given a little too much power out, and we're gonna be rocking and rolling here and doing some crazy stuff.
Well, there's two ways to look at it, right? So I boosted. Do you have a super item? Maybe. Why did you get the super item? When and where did you get the super item? Maybe the super item is tied to something else. And if I'm going to sort of balance encounters as to the super item, shouldn't you guys be shitting your pants right now?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
But here's the thing, though. You're gonna start figuring out that balance, and then that balance is going to require that item to be used. Whereas now we're like, oh, do we need to use it? Oh shit! All right, we thought that was like 4 ogres. It's 10. All right, we need Trebor here to help us. But now we're gonna get to the point where it's like, oh, right from the start. Oh, Rob, how many charges you got left in that fucker? Fuck.
Well, don't forget.
20 right now. 20 now.
But don't forget where it came from and what you were doing when it was there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't know what I'm saying because I'm kind of being fucking vague. But there was
exactly.
Remember, just keep in mind, Rob. I mean, this was your gig. You guys coming into this, get this thing for a purpose, right? You were coming to get the big old golden acorn, and right next to it was that. So, well, I got plans for that staff. It wasn't a oh fuck, I give them too powerful an item. I got plans for that staff. You will soon find out.
God help us, each and every one of us. Oh, here I'm gonna have to turn off my screen for a second. Not my screen. My virtual background, because something came today, and it is something that I never expected to actually hold in my hands. The Far West RPG. The Kickstarter that kickstarted before my marriage was consummated, invoked, sworn. So this goes back to 2011. It shipped in 2024, and I'm not doing a reach around like Rob does, but I am going to.
What do you mean? You just did a reach around. You pulled it out.
Oh, I guess so. All right, stop. If you're going to be so picky about what reach around entails, folks, this is the artwork. Into this fucking art. All right?
Nice.
Now, I don't have the poster of it yet. I'm supposed to get an art print. I don't know if any of that's just going to ever happen and materialize. I will say this. Pinnacle actually is the one that got this to print. God bless him. I will give Gareth some bit of credit by saying that I think moving to Open D6 from D20 was a better choice for a Western wuxia matchup for the whole powers and stuff. I think that was a better choice than trying to shove it into a D20 with levels. And the font isn't bad for my old eyes. So
when is the campaign going to start up then?
Oh, dude, don't fuck yourself. We're not demonetized yet. We're doing it now in my best New York accent. Hey, don't fuck yourself, all right? Yo, but listen. I don't even know if there's an adventure that tells you how. Like, usually when you get a new RPG, you go. First thing you do is you want to look at the adventure that came with it. I don't even know if there's an adventure in here. I don't know. So, because that tells you kind of like what the designer expected things to be run as opposed to like, I don't know, Giant Lands, which I know that somebody, I think the Elk was asking about a science fiction game based on Scientology. That's a dangerous question to be asking.
I've been getting a lot of Scientology ads on Twitter.
Oh my god!
All places. I'm like, why am I considered their target audience? I don't know.
What would be a good set of rules for a series of modules based on Xenu from Scientology lore? I am not up on my Scientology lore. Science fiction is not a genre that I've been.
I
deep
bought my
into.
brother a Scientology coloring book once. It was fun.
That I can see. That I can see. It's like, hey, can I draw a little penis on the aliens? Just checking. I'd ask. Was it Robert Heinlein? But he's long dead. You know. I don't know.
Well, the founder, L. Ron Hubbard,
Oh, Ron Hubbard.
was at a science fiction game con when he said, I'd have found my own religion because it would be a credible tax write-off, and I wouldn't have to pay anything in taxes.
Yeah, he was a sci-fi writer back in the day.
Yep.
So he just kept it on going. Not bad, not a bad gig. I read it. I read that book that got banned, L. Ron Hubbard, Messiah or Madman. It came out, and all the Scientologists basically bought every copy of it and burned them all because it was a tell-all book. And I regret so much I lent it to somebody and never got it back. So it's one of these days. It's on the list of someday to pick it up again.
That's great, though. I mean, imagine the sales. Imagine. Listen, they're doing a book burning, but if you're the author, hey, I just sold like 2,000 copies. They burned 1,900. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a. It's great. I made that many sales. I will wear that. I will pin that badge to my chest. Joe Block, the Greyhawk Rognard. Cheers, sir.
I heard the show the other night was good. And I was at the gym for the most part as I was texting you guys and busting chops there.
Ah.
Yeah, I was hoping he would take up my offer to pay him $50 to create a PC, like pre-gen basically, and something of a gnome and call it Matt Jackson. I was hoping he would take up the offer, but we'll have to see.
There may be an NPC in a future module that could be a Matt Jackson.
He didn't seem adverse to it.
Matt Jackson.
He didn't seem averse to it, really. He just who is Matt Jackson? I'm like, that's even better.
And I had to say, he's not Dyson. He's the not Dyson. That's if you want a Dyson that isn't Dyson, you got to find Matt Jackson.
Well, Dyson's AI.
Well, at least Matt's maps passed the AI test, unlike Dyson. I'm sorry. I know that I shouldn't. It's a kind of a sensitive. Apparently, for real, Dyson logos has received a lot of static because apparently his images, even his old images, are failing the AI test.
Really? Well, that's impossible though, because it was before AI. He drew those things, right?
Yeah.
But you know what that says though? It says something about the pattern. Or something about the way.
Maybe there's some some replication of the way he's doing things. That's causing an issue.
Kind of funny though.
I mean, he blocked me on Google Plus, so I wish him the worst. And, hope that it doesn't get better.
The only times I've spoken with Dyson over the last couple of years, the last time I spoke with him, he unblocked me to tell me that somebody was saying that I said, again, this is like telephone. I said that he was Watsy's map monkey. And I went, well, who's saying that I said this? Somebody said. I go, well, I've never said it. And I'd love to see where I go, I don't talk about you unless you come up in a conversation. I don't bring you up.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, well, that's what I heard. I go, well, I can't stop you from hearing it. And I can't help people making up quotes. Hey, Rob Conley likes raspberry-filled donuts.
I despise raspberry. I clearly deny that. I despise raspberry.
Well, yeah, but see, now I'll start that rumor that you. Oh heck, we'll just say that you called Dyson AI. Rob Conley designated Dyson as AI. And hey, Rob, you're authoritative, man. That actually could carry some weight. Oh my God, you could ruin his business. Ruin his business. But I don't. I saw the screenshot of his comment too about him being labeled as AI, and listen. I plan on now that I have less distractions in my life.
Yeah.
I want to do a little creativity. I want to use the maps from the one-page mapping program. The guy who does the dungeon maps that are
Mhm.
Whataboo?
the AI, I guess, right? Because they're generated. They look like faux Dyson maps a lot of times.
Oh, Dyson.
Yeah, I use the Whataboo. It's like
Yes.
what about?
What
But with
about? What about? Yeah. What
without the
about?
T. And I've been rendering them, and then I have like a folder on my drive with hundreds of them that I've had run out fake, and then I'll just move them into Photoshop and just chop off the parts that I want and put it together. If you turn off the hatching, there's no problem lining everything up. You just
Oh,
scale it right. And here, let me show you. I'll do a
I mean,
Rob
what you
Conley
put it
share
into us.
here.
Uh-oh.
Screen share.
Oh, wait. Rob's doing a screen share first.
Whoa. Okay, I wasn't ready. I'd let Greg go first, and then I'll do my thing.
Okay. I was like, wait a second. What's going on here? But I
So
I remember when I found the what about stuff. The first thing I asked was, "Hey, can you use this commercially?" And he was like,
Mm.
"Yeah."
yeah, he didn't care. It's on his website that he doesn't care. Okay, let me just try to present, right? Share screen. So this was the test dungeon that I made.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I
Wow, man.
put together. So he has a cave generating one. So I attached the
pretty cool.
caves, and I attached the caves in Photoshop to create connections between different sections. I used the same rendering out of the cave, and then I did a black overlay to create like a chasm
Right.
here. And then a lot of the graphics on here, either I made myself with custom shapes in Photoshop. The the pillars are his.
Mhm.
And then this is a classic statue icon or whatever. But I made there's a software program on Steam called Canvas of Kings that lets you build a bunch of stuff. It kind of like I picked it up because it has kind of a Skyrim theme to it, and that's where they like add
One
these
second, Greg.
rocks.
Where the base maps come from? Or,
What about
okay.
it's if you just search for in Google for what about, but take off the T at the
I'll
end.
give Eric the
Yeah.
link.
And then like I rendered out planks and stuff from that program.
I got it.
Sleeping bags and I made the pit trap open and close pit traps myself and stuff like that. They have little stairwells all over the place. So it's kind of got like a Caverns of Thracia move about in different directions element to it. But yeah, this is just assembled from hundreds of those. I scanned through them until I found a room that fit the angle that I wanted. You get some cool stuff. Like you get like this structure here was created on one map. So I didn't build this from multiple things.
Right.
They had like 2 rooms where you come in here and you can go down either staircase. I put pit traps at the end of both, but that you don't have to do that.
So fucking evil. That's just
Yeah.
evil, dude.
Right.
And
Stop
then
giving Joe ideas.
yeah, and then I figured like this would be like a vampire. One of the maps has some of the results, maybe not just one, right? A few of them, but it's rare. Have like a coffin. So put the coffin on there, and so I have like I'm thinking there'll be like a vampire over here with some minions, and he's kind of goes out this exit at night. He's the only one that knows about this secret door, stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
you could build in. Have a difference between muddy water and slime, whatever. But a lot of this is just shapes in Photoshop or importing stuff from other places, and then just reassembling all this stuff. So it's like you can do pretty much anything you want. There's an alternate export out of his cave program that creates forest paths. It really reminds me
Really?
of Legend of Zelda. Let me Link to the Past was like my favorite game when I was a teenager. Like look at it, like you can
Oh, damn.
yeah, so this is
Wow.
this is
That's
a
pretty
bunch.
cool.
It's just the same shapes that he has in the cave program, but it turns the edges into forests. So then you can put like I added this pile of rocks. I put a statue icon here. I imported a house from that other program I was talking about on Steam. I put a pit trap, stuff like that. But mostly this is just, caves that have been repurposed into. You just turn on. It's called glade mode. You just turn on glade mode, and it makes this output. And I put this is kind of the end of this little dungeon. Yeah, this is the tower that has steps that go down into one of those dungeon exits. But I've just been playing around with stuff like you can add a lot of water. You can control the percent per map, so you can have them. It'll just create random ponds and stuff.
Are you showing an image, or you're actually on the website?
Oh, this is something I assembled in Photoshop and am done with.
So, folks, so you know, if you're on the website and you right-click whatever one of the generators on that What About site, it will save it as an SGV file, which is you can bring it into Illustrator or CorelDRAW or another program, and you can rescale it to any size. And then, so those of you who know how to use mapping programs, graphic program, it's really good for that as well. So I have something to share because Mr. Let's see. Scroll back here. I'm sorry, John Miller likes my Wild North, and there was a review of it, and he asked, where in Greyhawk can you put the Wild North? And well, for those you don't remember, I did a digital version of Darlene's map that you can do Infinite Dooms on. So I imported my Wild North map, scaled it properly because I used 5-mile hex and Greyhawk used 30-mile hexes. And my recommendation is to put it perhaps somewhere just to the southwest of the Frost Barbarians, kind of rework the Griff Mountains here, or probably better yet, you can bring it over to here to the Rovers of the Baron, because I think they're more Russian-like, and just rotate it 180 degrees and make it kind of like that, or maybe up in the hold of the Stone Fist. That's where, somewhere in this region, in the I forgot the name of the peninsula, Thendarillion Peninsula area. So that's where I would put it in Greyhawk.
Well, it's an area that I think my players back in the day, I don't think they ever got out there. I think that was an area that was usually unexplored. So if you're going to do it, that's a good place to put it.
Rob, how did you get any rights to do that for that map? Not that I'm trying to get you in trouble, but I mean, what's the legality of doing all that and put it out there, man?
Darlene's World of Greyhawk digital map is an unofficial fan content permitted under the fan content policy. Not approved or endorsed by Wizard. Portion of this material used are property of Wizards of the Coast.
Okay. All right. I had no idea. That's pretty cool.
I'll be honest, I'm probably skating the borderline, but
yeah.
But the fan policy, you can't sell it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's pretty liberal compared to like way TSR was in the 90s. Or even Wizards in the 2000s, even though they did the D20 stuff, they weren't really keen on, they didn't have anything like the fan policy back then.
Yeah.
But the fan policy is pretty nice, so long as you don't abuse it. And, this, like I said, I went through here and me and another fella made, oh man, I forgot his name, but he made a high-res JPEG or, image of the Darlene map, really cleaned up everything. My focus is I figured out how to use these. It's like OCR, optical character recognition, but it works for shape.
Yeah.
And I found out that CorelDRAW has improved to the point where if I took his image, which was super big, I could get good, clean scans off of the stuff. So, and I made this digital version, which is, I guess I'll give Eric that link, but I could do stuff like, that's not good. Mountain Solid. So like that. And eventually, I can turn things off and leave a white background. So if you ever wanted a nice black and white Greyhawk map, you can do that with my digital PDF. You can turn off all these layers and get different different colors. You can turn off,
cool.
like the kingdom names, terrain names, settlement name, like that, and just leave that. Now, of course, it's going to leave the big old gaps where the names were, but but it gives you options for all kinds of presentations of the Greyhawk map.
That's pretty cool. They're not doing anything with Greyhawk anyway. Wizards of the Coast. You know what I mean? They don't give a shit.
That's how I felt about Darkside.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. I mean, someday they might, and then who knows what'll happen, but whatever.
Yeah, Greg, but you did your take. It was you did it right. I mean, you built a homage. So
yeah.
Well, the rumor had been that we were going to get an announcement on Greyhawk at GaryCon, and it shit the bed. We didn't get it.
The announcement is F you.
Yeah.
Well, the announcement was that there was going to be a license awarded to use Greyhawk. I'm assuming for 5e purposes, but or D&D Forever or whatever the hell is coming down the pipe.
Well, it just speaks to how much more successful they could be if they gave a shit about running their social media.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even show up to cheer on people who like their games.
Yeah.
Case in point, we do have an actual recent example, the run up to D&D 5e. They too they canned their reputation in the throughout the 4e era in the beginning with their marketing, how they're terrible. They mocked fans of every other edition in their marketing run up to D&D 4e, and then they didn't seem. Well, they didn't have anything like the OG. Well, they did. They have the GSL. They had their own version of the OGL fiasco, and even when they tried to fix,
bought that.
they tried to fix D&D 4e with Essentials, and nobody bought that. And then they said, "Okay, we got to do this right." And by golly, they did it right. They came out with the reprints. They were on social media everywhere. Courting Pathfinder fans, courting OSR fans. They were, Mike Murrow was spearheading all that, and he did a bang up job. Thus, when D&D 5e came out, it quickly became, and I don't know if people remember this, everybody's second favorite RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right. So now we're going to go for the moment. We're going to go to D&D Beyond, since we're talking about this stuff. And somebody tell me what's missing from the D&D Beyond homepage. As I scroll through it, what is not mentioned on the D&D Beyond homepage?
The 50th anniversary of D&D?
No, not at all. Why would you mention the greatest? I mean, it was mentioned right in the Hasbro stock update, whatever it was, the quarterly report. Mm-hmm. They mentioned the 50th anniversary in there. They don't even mention it on their own fucking website. This is the portal where everybody's supposed to go for D&D. D&D Beyond. All right.
You can tell though that the salesman for Purple really is making a killing with the people over at Wizards of the Coast.
All right.
Purple is moving some units.
Do you know what Purple represents?
Oh, those poor Tyrian snails. They must be getting wiped out by all the purple.
Yes.
So bonus point if anybody in the audience recognizes that reference.
Phoenician jokes have a long way to go in our culture.
I actually got the joke, but I wasn't going to admit I got the joke until Greg did.
what
I didn't want to be that geeky.
Leave from behind, Joe. Don't change.
What is the purpose for Purple? What is it often used for?
King royalty.
Right, but more specifically, it's used for funerals.
No. You're right.
It's used for funerals when there's a line of duty death in the PD or the fire department. It's purple bunting that's put out. okay, and purple
Mhm.
bunting because somebody lost their life in service for the community. All right, then there's no higher purpose. Well, you're putting purple out there. You're kind of telling me that you're letting D&D die. Is that the actual meaning?
Yeah.
Because there's a meaning to everything in marketing. All right, nothing gets marketed at D&D's level these days without there being a meaning behind everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like why the hell is there what looks to be a vampire cartoon character on their fucking homepage? What the hell is that about? I mean, because I see that little tooth, the vampire tooth sticking up, and they look like they're gray and they're undead. I don't get how is this selling me D&D?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no like embracing of any of the like. Yeah, let's talk about this particular set. Let's talk about that set. Like stuff that is from the past. It's all new pitch. Whereas like just because I wrote a book 2 years ago doesn't mean I never mention it again. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
stupid. I don't know why they have huge legacy products that people love. You, I try not to bring up the Bro SR a lot because it causes some strong reactions from people. But the entire thing of the Bro SR is to play AD&D as as close to as written as possible. And they want nothing to do with anybody. They don't talk about, hey, there's still people playing AD&D. AD&D is great. Never heard them mention it once. You know, like how crazy is that? Like if you had somebody who was super into
You mean this?
original Star Wars.
You mean
Yeah,
this?
this
they
guy.
Put,
yeah.
I'm sure they put a lot of thought into it.
It's easy to dunk on Jeffro, but I'm saying there's a lot of people out there that are doing it. There was a whole thing this week about God, what's her name? Ginger something. There's a girl on Twitter, woman on Twitter
Ginny
named
D.
Ginger Blast, I
Oh.
think is her thing, and she basically posted about how she was trying 1-to-1 time in her games, and this is going to be a little bit stepping on Jeffro's toes, but she's not an abrasive, aggressive person. So she's talking about it in just a nice way, and it goes way further than any of these. She's getting shared all over the place, and all these people are getting interested in it. It's like, yeah, imagine if you talked about how you did things without yelling at everybody else being a tool.
Oh, but that's part of the
that's part of the that's part of the thing. Yeah, it's
that's and there are people. Listen, Wenger puts out some of the highest quality OSR stuff that you're going to find.
Does he?
He does. Some of his stuff is fucking awesome. But here's the issue.
Well, wait. Well, let's be clear. I mean, I'm not saying.
Not saying all of
doesn't
it.
put a lot of. You mean production values or
production values are very good, but his work itself can be. And I'm not talking about how to
acquired taste.
Oh, listen, it is an acquired taste. I think that his early stuff, especially, was spot on before he decided to become a shock jock. The shock jock is part of the routine now. So it's kind of like, I don't know, meeting Howard Stern and then talking to Howard Stern off the air. You're dealing with two different people, right? But Howard has. Oh, of course, Howard's a has-been now, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Howard.
He's terrible. I can't. I used to religiously watch that guy, but now forget it. Forget it.
You know, I used to watch. I used to listen to Opie and Anthony, and then they went a bridge too far, and it's like, ooh, geez, yeah, I don't know, Sex and St. Pat's. I don't. Yeah.
What did they do?
Oh, they had a game where they had like couples scored points on where you would have sex, and they had to have a spotter.
Yeah.
The spotter was usually one of these comedians, and this couple did it like in a confessional at St. Pat's.
Oh God. That's no. Come
And
on.
that's when they got pulled off.
You know, I'm barely Catholic anymore, but
Well,
have a little respect,
that's
dude.
the same mechanism now with all sorts of stuff on the internet. Is that it's just like the idea of a gateway drug. Like it starts out small, like I'm just gonna have people call in with these minor things, whatever, and then you're looking for people with more and more salacious calls to
Yep.
call into your show. And then
Mhm.
you're looking for more and more because people can't just sit on their laurels and be like, I'm fine with doing what I'm doing. It has to always be ramped up a notch until it gets so extreme that people are like, what the F are you doing now? How many podcasts have gone that path? How many radio shows? How many, TV shows like
Well, let's give a more relevant example. So you here in the OSR and you get inspired to release something like I have, like Eric. Hopefully Joe will one day be part of that club, and you, Greg. And
Hold on a second. Joe,
Yeah.
your inspiration. Okay.
Far West.
yeah.
Yes, 11 fucking years.
All right.
That's your inspiration, dude. You
All
better
right.
beat that time clock.
Well, Joe, I'm going to let you go, Rob, but just want to take another time to poke Joe. Somebody took Blood Island and wrote a book.
Oh, they got the name.
The
They got
dungeon
the
on
name.
Blood Island. Now he's going to use that as an excuse for why he never published Blood Island and his idea.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
Continue.
It's still
okay.
a place.
So you publish, and then you got this buddy on the internet, and who doesn't have it quite together as you do, and you say, I help you publish, and now suddenly you take him on, and then another person, yeah, I helped him, I can help you, and now you're a traditional publisher house, and all of a sudden you may wind up enjoying it, which is fine, but sometimes people get caught up and they realize, how am I at this spot? How am I at this traditional publisher? I don't have time for my own stuff anymore. How did I get to this point? So you got to be, you got to sometimes in creative hobbies that turn into something more, you got to keep an eye on what your goals are. So things go the way you want it to go.
It's an interesting question. What are your goals, guys, as publishers of RPGs? Fun, money, supplement. I mean, a serious retirement fund, supplemental income. I mean, what are you looking for?
I'm in it for the chicks.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. So Greg's on crack. What are you guys in it for?
I want to give back to the community. All right. I mean, honestly, I came into the OSR right around when I met Rach. It was a great time in my life, and the OSR has been an inspiration to me. And when I get to put something out, I like to, be able to give back, and it's fun. It's enjoyable.
Is there any?
I like. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I just wonder, is there any sort of monetary goal, Eric, or is it just giving back? If I make money, no big deal. Do you have sort of?
I would never say I don't want to make money off it, but it's not my driving. The money is a nice bonus. Okay, it's like the icing on the cake. I would still eat the cake without the icing. I'd still be happy if I wasn't making. I don't have to be driven by money. I've got a pension. I don't have to be driven by money, which is most people can't say that. Rachel said, "Yeah, Rachel's right. It's a luxury, and I'd be happy to make the money so I can, spend it on a few extra luxuries, but it doesn't drive me."
But I'm in the same page, pretty much on the same page of Eric. For me, in particular, though, my family, my grandfather, my dad, me now, and my son is turning out. My youngest son is. My sons are turning out the same way. Is we like to build things, useful things for other people to do or use. And we get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And so, I mean, like Eric, I mean, I like the money. I like the fact that I had 15K on my most recent Kickstarter. But what I really like is being able to share my stuff. And then I like being able to take certain elements of my stuff like Black Marsh or my rules and share that as open content that help jumpstart people's other projects, and that
Mhm.
Black March has helped people, especially overseas. There's a Spanish OCR game that adapted it for their setting, and I know there's people in France and in Hungary who also use Black March. There's a guy who wrote a fantasy trip uh, clone that came out a few years before Steve Jackson got their stuff back, and he used Black March to help jumpstart his effort. And I get a lot of thrills out that. And the thing I keep in mind is what dominates my, not so much creative, but the logistic parts of my creative work is that, I write slow. And long ago, I came to terms with that. I'm going to write what I write, and it's going to come out when it's going to come out. I'm not going to, it's not like I'm an over perfectionist, but I write slow. I got hearing loss, there's nerve damage, I have trouble with the English language. And I have sometimes since I started writing stuff professionally in the mid 2000s, I've run into limits on how fast I can produce stuff. So I've accepted that. And I realized that if I'm going to make the bucks, it's going to have to, because it's only going to happen because if I make it right, the best work possible. So if it's once a year, it's going to be once a year,
Mhm.
And
I have a totally different answer for you, Joe.
Mhm.
So back in 2010, I just looked it up. This guy named Clay Shirky wrote a book called Cognitive Surplus. And the basic idea is that since humanity has existed, that people have always had extra cognitive power than what they need to accomplish their daily life, right? You're a
Mhm.
farmer, you're sitting out in the field, you're hoeing away. You're not thinking about working in the field. You're thinking all kinds of stuff you're thinking in your head the whole time, right?
Yeah.
And it's just until very recently, it's been just burned and wasted away. All the thoughts that people have had, only when you started getting widespread literacy do you even have people writing it down. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
so like the new technologies that were starting to come out back in the early 2000s are starting to let people actually channel this extra cognitive energy that they have into real things that can be preserved. So Wikipedia was the example that he used at the time, right? So there's all these people who the knowledge that they have about a particular topic would just be thrown in the trash, but they
Mhm.
can go on Wikipedia and upload it, right? So my perspective is I have a ton of cognitive surplus. I'm thinking of ideas when I'm driving, when I'm sitting around bored, when I'm doing all this stuff. I actually done tons of role playing game writing on vacation on my phone because I'm just sitting there on the beach or whatever, and I have an idea and I just write it into my phone, and then I have
Mhm.
another idea and I write it into my phone. And for me, writing role playing games is just putting it down in a form like I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have all these things that come up. For a long time, I made mods for video games, but then that video game would get old, technologically speaking, and the
Mhm.
mod would be gone. Who cares about what mod I wrote for Civ 4?
Yeah.
Like it's over. So I see role playing games as a way of I can write ideas down that I have. I can put them together in a format that I can keep, that can be preserved, that somebody else can benefit from. That's why
Mhm.
I mean. What do I always say to you? You and Tim, you guys have all these. Put it down. Put it down. Get it out. When we tell Tim he needs to make a compendium of all of his
Yeah.
stuff. That's the kind of thing. Like, how many great ideas have people had over all this years of history that have just disappeared when they died?
Mhm.
Like write it down, get it preserved. That to me, that's the whole thing. Like, I'm gonna be thinking this stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might as well get it into a preservable form that can benefit somebody else.
I look at that as a legacy, actually. More and more in my head, like I don't have kids. I never been married. I don't have kids, and
Thank God.
yeah,
Oh,
it'll be
sorry.
rough.
I thought I was on mute.
But if I thought about it, like, it'd be kind of cool to leave something like everybody else has kids that you have a legacy, right? Instantly, just because you popped them out, right? But I don't have anything like that. I have the legacy of my, how I help people, maybe things I did for people. That that's a nice way to be remembered. But I want to leave something behind that somebody could read and say, "Who is that fucking guy? Look at this, is pretty fucking good." I wish I played with him once or something. You know what I mean? Something like that would be kind of neat. I like the ideas, and I would love someday. I've always had this in my head because I'm a used bookstore guy. I would love to be wandering through this junky used bookstore and see one of my books on the shelf. That would make my whole fucking life. You know what I mean? I don't know why. Even more so than it was on a shelf in Barnes and Noble. It would be fantastic.
Well, because it means that somebody read it and passed it on, as
Yeah.
opposed to there's an unread copy of my work on a bookshelf. It's hey, this was read, enjoyed,
Yeah.
and
Loved.
and then
Hopefully.
downsized.
I would like to see if it was
It's
like
one of,
well-read.
I mean, you have people, I'm a Roman Catholic and I believe in God, and you have that faith, but objectively, we could one of the kids and creative works are one of the few objective ways you can kind of be immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really is. I mean, both are acts of creation, right? I mean, look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think
dropped
that
a
there's
link
no.
for you, Eric, in the private chat to share, because if I share it, it'll get flagged by YouTube. But this
Right.
article got shared around this week on some social media stuff that I saw. It's really good. Anybody who's interested in publishing anything should read it.
I know
It
what the article
basically,
is. Yes.
there was an antitrust case against Simon and Schuster, Random House, or something, and they had to disclose all these financial pieces of information that nobody had before about how book publishing is
And
done.
it's
Wow.
It's
so
so yeah, like
fascinating.
stats like that 90% of books don't sell more than 2,000 copies.
Yeah, I've heard that. Actually.
That 60% of them sold fewer than 50 copies or something. Or, something like that. At like crazy numbers. And it totally made me feel better about my role-playing game publishing. Oh my God. Because I am over 2,000, buddy. I'm in the elite.
Hey,
Well, you can look at the medal levels, and that's an objection. If you look at the medal level, and you could see that. Let's see, bring it up. Medal tiers. Oops. Fumbling here. Drive through RPG.
I know what you mean. The numbers are like 4% of people have platinum, or I mean, it's less than
Pick something that has a high.
Yeah.
these are the scary numbers. I refuse to show my sister this article because it would not go down well.
So 13.1% of all products on DriveThruRPG are copper sellers. That means they sold more than 50 copies. And you have silver, 13.9%, still there. 7.08% are Electrum, which is 250. 3.9% are gold, over 500. Only 1.68% are platinum, over 1,000. And I forgot what mithril is 0.35%. So out of all the products on DriveThruRPG, which is in tenth of thousand, only 509 reached mithril, and only 201 reached the highest level, adamantine, and that's 0.14%.
Well, here's the numbers from this antitrust suit. In 2020, only 268 titles sold more than 100,000 copies, and 96%. That is, I'll take my D20 out. You had to roll a natural 20 to have any chance of selling 1,000 copies.
Oh, wow, that sounds really dismal.
All right. Now, they want to know how many authors are across the industry. Now, this is not books. That's not one title. It could be an author that writes a book a year.
Yeah.
How many authors there are across the industry with 500,000 units or more during the 4-year period that they were talking about? 50. 50 authors across the publishing industry who during the 4-year period sold more than 500,000.
And the thing is, the nice thing about our present day is the problem, say 1970, is how do you get your book to people? I
Mm.
mean, you have mail order, but how did people any know how to order your book through the mail? So it was the publisher distributor store was really the only way, even for low volume numbers, hundreds of books instead of thousands of books. It was the only path you had, effective path. But today with the internet, it's not, you know, you don't have to put a lot of money in to have an audience in the low hundreds. And if you have an audience in the low hundred, even though you're not going to make your living at it, you're still going to make enough to do your project, have a nice to buy a few things for your house and family, and it's a nice income. It's a nice substantial reward. And then if you're lucky, you might have a couple low in the low thousands, and you'll be able to do more. You know.
Mhm.
Perhaps even be like Kevin Crawford or Fraud God Games or Goodman Games or one of the smaller RPG companies out there and actually make a living at it.
I mean, this is, and this is actually this article that we have up on the screen is a testament to if you can generate your own social media, if you can generate your own following, you are probably better off self-publishing. There are authors that self-publish through Amazon that are they're not making millions of dollars, but they are eking a living out by writing their fiction because by self-publishing through Amazon, they're getting the bulk of the monies. You don't get much per book sold. If you get an advance,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you might not see anything until, and they probably tell you, well, after 2,000 copies, you'll see. You're not. They're telling you right here that you're not going to sell 2,000 copies. So any advance you get as an author, and it isn't much unless you're a big name, is probably all you're going to get.
Now there is a downside the way we do it now in that it requires more. It demands a different set of skill as an author than you did under if you just lived with the author, the publisher, distributor, store system. In that you have to notice how to sell. You have to market. You
Yeah.
have to do a little accounting, and you maybe don't have to, you can hire somebody to do the layout, but you're going to have to take responsibility for like the presentation of your store page. And a lot of people don't really have a knack for that. So in some ways, it's a wash because
Yeah,
the old system, you could just be a good writer. In fact, you could be
right.
an asshole
Mhm.
who is a good writer, but since nobody really talked to you except for your publisher, you can still make a living. But today, if you're an asshole and you're trying to do a Kickstarter, generally things don't end well,
Your reputation is everything. There's a guy I follow on YouTube. His name is Robert Meyer Burnett, and he says that authenticity is going to be the currency of the next 10 years. Like because with AI and everything else that's going on, and you could fake anything now. I listened to some esoteric YouTube guy, and he has the voice of Saruman. And it's like I'm listening to Saruman. You don't know who the fuck this guy is. You hear his ideas, you see, you know what he's talking about, but you don't get a sense of who he really actually is. And I think that's accurate. I mean, authenticity, it's going to be a big thing. People who are real, people who aren't full of shit are going to be looked for.
Yep.
Yeah. Answering some questions in the chat. I don't know if this includes digital books, Kindle mostly, or whatever format Barnes and Noble sells in, if you can find a Barnes and Noble.
Mm.
But and as for the last 50 years or more, it's not in this article because it wasn't part of the lawsuit. The suit that was filed was giving us a behind the scenes of the time frame in question, and that's scary. I can tell you this from the handful of authors that I do know or have met over the years. If you go back 20 years, if you sold a book, your advance was much larger than your advance is going to be now.
Oh yeah.
Assuming you're somebody who is not on the radar. If you're somebody that's established, maybe that hasn't changed because you're more likely to make your money back. But
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it is the change in focus of the reading public. The public, because of the internet, you read short articles, you're not reading books per se. You're reading a lot during the day, but you're reading most of your stuff on the internet. You're not really reading books as much as we used to.
You don't have an attention span anymore either. That
Yeah.
most people, we have less than what we used to have.
Yeah.
I've actually had the idea of most people don't know this, but I will share this secret with you guys.
Ooh, a secret.
I am all but thesis on a PhD in political economy before I went into a totally different industry for my job, and then I went into a totally different industry from that, neither of which were related to political economy. But I have been accumulating for years, like all these different ideas about like what would be my explanatory theory for how different things work in the political sphere, and as it relates to kind of like your magnum opus type idea, And I've been thinking of when I try to put all that stuff down, like Joe says, for like a legacy, like this is what I learned from all the time that I spent thinking about this particular topic. I think it would be really good to design those pages more like a web page than like a traditional book, to have more diagrams, graphs, elements in there. So like if you say over time this has gone up and this has gone down, having a visual of that and just having blog like statements in there, rather than it just being wall of text like we're used to seeing in books. I think you could really change how people process information. I think we've really learned a lot from, not to get into the politics of any of these people, but like Joe Rogan, of having people on in a way that totally breaks from the way normal media was being conducted at the time. Having these long form political interviews with people, having shows where they aren't just sitting around yelling at each other like on Crossfire in the 90s, letting people actually talk, stuff like that. I think there's similar advancements to be made in book publishing, that in how to design things. And I think I'm not saying this to toot my horn. I think people who are used to doing reference documents the way that role-playing games are have something to bring to people doing fictional and theoretical and other traditional writing sources. Like as a person who designs a game, I'm trying to convey the information in a different way than somebody writing their theory of political science, and so being able to take those skills and put them back into another discipline is really an exciting idea for me.
Well, I mean, look at the media, the physical media, the logistical media that we operate in the digital world. I mean, we have print options, but we can present things. We have more choices on how to present things. Web page, blog post, video combination with text, multimedia, and along with the traditional setup. So, and we only got this ability to do this since, say, 2000. I mean, there was stuff in the 90s, but really started coming together in the 2000s, and we still haven't figured it out, everything that we could do. So your ideas might actually be a good way to go.
Wow, endorsement of Rob.
Oh, wait.
Normally we're at loggerheads.
I know.
But
never happened.
Well, I mean, I'll just remember I'm part of the More the Merrier club. So what you said fits with that. So go ahead. I'm always telling people, go ahead and try it. Just because it's something, not saying what you're saying isn't my cup of tea, but there are like Venger. Venger puts out very attractive physical product, but it's content is not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not
I
going to
think there's
criticize
something
him
to
for it.
learn
It's
from
just-
that. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Rob. That there's people. I care about people doing innovative work, whether it appeals to me aesthetically or not. I can appreciate what they're doing. Like as much as Eric and I have ragged on Vornheim over the years. Zach's idea of having a book where you roll dice on the book and where they fall on the chart determines something, like the actual physical locations of the dice. That is an interesting innovation, even if I disagree with a lot of things about him or whatever.
Right.
I think one of the big problems we have with, particularly with the social media age, is this tyranny of association. You can't even be associated with somebody that another person dislikes without you being the same thing as them. And I think that's a real I mean, Tom Cruise is a freaking nutter that has no impact on whether his movies are good or not.
Yeah.
I don't have to personally like my plumber. He does the job that he's supposed to do. Like, people get so up into, well, you can't be playing the game written by the dude that said the wrong things. Like, yeah, I can, and fuck you. I don't care if you have a problem with it.
Well,
we have to move past that.
what I'll say about that is that you should certainly speak out if you see something specific. What I don't like is the generalization.
It's funny.
You get better results if you're complaining about a specific person doing a specific shitty thing.
It's funny you mentioned the whole thing with Zach. I'm going through old pictures on my hard drive the other day, and I just found these here. Let me present. Where the hell? There we go. This is from one of his old shows that I went to a million years ago.
Yeah, I'd like to answer Mr. Gunn while you look that up.
Yeah,
So what if you're plumbing?
One of his shows, Zach, Vandy, the other two folks.
That one guy looks super depressed to be there.
Yeah. Then Joey Lindsay, far right there, half of him. It was one of Zach's art shows. I mean, these are old days, when everybody still kind of got along and there was less toxicity going on, That's me with the blocked out face there. I look
like that. I figure.
Yeah.
I was going to say to Mr. Gunn, what if your plumber is a pedo or a KKK member? If somebody has actually done something, then let's talk about it. But almost all of these cases are somebody saying something that hurts someone's feelings.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole thing that came out, what was it, 4 months ago now, about with all these tapes that were released of the people going after Zach. It was just made up bullshit that somebody made up, So it's like, I'm so unwilling to just blindly believe what people say that like it's so many lies that if somebody comes to me and is like, here's the film of Joe doing the wrong thing in the wrong place, and I'm gonna be like, okay, well, maybe I need to
even then.
Well, the thing that's particular to Zach, I'm going to be charitable here. He was difficult. He was difficult to talk to and have a civil conversation with, regardless of whatever the issue was or whatever you're talking.
Nobody here's going to disagree with you there.
Yeah, no, I second.
I had a few conversations with him on Google Plus. I immediately, my spidey sense went off.
Dude, I didn't even need a spidey sense, man. I just need to go, wow, you're a dick. But doesn't make the guy. I Red and Pleasant Land is one of the best RPG books ever. I will never take that away from him. It doesn't mean the man is not a dick. The fact that people conspired against him is horrible. He's still an asshole. Again, personal opinions. But it doesn't mean he deserved these people conspiring against him. Now, I don't know if you saw this story that just came out that I forget what school district it was, but the gym teacher apparently didn't like the principal. So he used AI to get
I saw
audio clips of the principal saying racist stuff.
No shit.
And then found a student he knew would be enough of an asshole to distribute this and run with it. Hey, I got this clip of so now they figured out, the FBI got involved and went, no, this isn't legit. This is AI. This isn't your voice. This is somebody imitating your voice using AI. And now the gym teacher was arrested. This is the new reality. We talk about AI and AI art and AI writing, AI videos, AI audio. It used to be you got to see it to believe it. Now you're going to see it. It's still going to go. I
Yeah,
don't fucking know.
most of the porn that Joe watches is just a fat Russian dude that has AI over him, and Joe's
Hello,
just having a great
everybody.
time. And
Dude, we watched the same porn. I didn't know that.
I often say, and these guys always poop. You guys always poop me for this. That people have been assholes for a very long time, and it's just the
Nebuchadnezzar all the way back.
just the means have changed over the years. However, there is one thing that's different. There is a thing that's different about our age, in that the improvements in communication technology mean everybody's front porch is either right next to our house or across the street from us,
Yeah.
and we have not adjusted to that reality yet. I told my kid one time when he was thinking about doing videos on the internet and stuff, and it said, just remember, whatever you do, you need to be comfortable with it, as if you're going to go down to downtown Meadville and post it on telephone poles, on every single telephone pole, for all to read as they walk down the street. And if you're not comfortable with doing that here, you're not going to be comfortable with doing that on the internet.
Hold on, I got a question. Isn't Meadville like the Dr. Seuss universe? I mean, I thought that was like a Dr. Seuss.
That's
What is that?
Weedville, I think.
Oh, okay.
Weedville? There's a place called Weedville?
Meadville.
Meadville. I thought Meadville
Oh.
was in Dr. Seuss. I guess I was wrong.
It
Sorry.
was named after one of the first settlers in the region, David Mead.
Okay.
Isn't that where they make that Pieade sports drink?
No, but we invented the goddamn fucking zipper, so put that up your ass.
Oh, it's fighting words, folks. We're getting spunky.
Stick that up your ass and zip it.
Yeah. Anytime you guys work, or anybody works a zipper, the first ones were made here in Meadville.
And now you know.
Now you know.
When you come for stuff, you're not going to find on your average Wikipedia page.
Jesus Christ. Oh. Hey, I have handy, because we haven't done this in a while. I have the Trivial Pursuit, since Rob's throwing out bits of knowledge. You want some questions?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I got to run. This is a good time for me to go.
Oh, look at this!
I don't know any of these fucking
out.
questions.
Oh, all right.
I am not as old as you.
I won't focus.
Hey, you played 2E. Come on, don't give me that shit.
I did play 2E, but
all these questions are based on 2E.
No, this isn't the 2E one.
No.
This is the main one.
This
is the newer one that I got. So I have the one that's based on Peterson's stuff. Basically, that's
I have it up there, right? My newly reorganized bookshelf, and it's right there, just below Triplanetary.
You got to give us a warning for seizures and shit like that when you do that, man.
All right, here we go.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Oh, you bitch! You're leaving for real. You can't stand the heat, can you? All right.
Duty calls, my friend. See you later.
In Greyhawk, do the spells named after the wizard Rari affect primarily the mind or the body?
Body.
Mind.
Rari's mind scan, Rari's mind shield, Rari's telepathic
enhancer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think it's more than one of them affects the body a lot.
Rory's? I don't know.
Jesus Christ. Who the fuck would know this? How long does a pregnancy of an Etten female last? Who the fuck? What?
An Etten female?
That's an old school question?
I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know the category. I'm just looking at the card here.
Is that something in that module that I got pulled or something?
Wait, hold on a second. Now I got to ask the question. So is this Is this a northern Etten or a southern Etten?
It says 6 months.
How long?
6 months, it says.
They popped that
According
shit
to the
out
Forgotten
fast.
Realms wiki, the Etten female lasts 6
Are
to
you
7
cheating?
months.
Did you just fucking cheat, bitch? What the fuck?
You already gave me
I
an
want to
answer.
know where the
It's not a
source
cheat.
is.
Oh my god.
It's not a
What
cheat.
category that
You
is
already
under?
answered for us. You already answered for us.
It was
It's not a
6
cheat.
months. It is 6 months.
But
All
what
right.
category is it under,
I
Joe?
don't know. Is it their third or fourth on the card? I don't know the categories by name. I know that yellow is history, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I,
What
I cl-
subterranean humanoids can enlarge themselves or become invisible as innate abilities?
Dorgar?
no, Ogre Magi.
Duergar. Rob, you're fucking up, man. All right. The village of
Bum, 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 bum. I'm a
all right,
dwarf. I know this shit.
that's
Come on.
it. The village of Tangaroa was an island settlement described in which expert set module?
What's it called?
The
Tangaroa?
village of Tangaroa is
Isle of
described.
Dread?
Let
That's
us
only
see. Eric?
that final answer.
That sounds right. It's Isle of Dread. All right.
The only Iowa one I could think of.
Ah, here we go. In Greyhawk, the set of signature spells mostly achieve their effects through sound, music, or dance are named after which wizard?
Odioke.
Who?
Odioke.
Odioke.
Otto. Best known for Otto's
Otto.
irresistible dance.
I guess Odioke.
I remember it was an O name. Otto's Irresistible.
Okay.
Mhm.
Never mind. I am
See
done.
now, here I'm going to ask one for Greg that he might have been able to answer before he bitched out and ran away like a little child. In Dark Sun, what is the name of the city-state ruled by the Shadow King who shares his name with the city who rules?
I
Not a
just know
Dark
that, but
Sun
I'm not going to
fan.
even bother.
Nibbenay. Nibenay.
Nibbenay.
Nibbenay. Live and learn. Nibbenay.
Nibbenay.
All right.
Nibbenay.
I don't know. A lot of Dark Sun coming up here. In the BX set, 1981, would you find the black pudding in the basic or expert set?
Basic.
Basic.
Expert.
I thought it was one of the ones that they threw in to fuck with you.
I don't know. It says expert here. All right. What two weapons can be used? Breath weapons can be used by silver dragons.
Fire, and it's one of the gases.
Eric?
I can never keep the metallic dragon straight.
It isn't. It isn't fire and acid.
No.
Cold, frost, and urine.
No, you got cold, but paralyzing breath.
Never would have gotten that one.
I know the metallics. Green is chlorine gas.
Chlorine gas. Yep.
Black is acid.
Well,
Red
that's
is
because
fire.
we all had to be worried about the metallics. Now, how many players got attacked by a gold or a silver dragon in a game, right? Or what two
True.
can be used
They
by...
went insane.
All right, here's a roll then. Which two can be used by a copper dragon?
What?
Uh,
Well, please repeat the question.
Which two breath weapons can be used by copper dragons?
What did they get to?
I don't know. That is
all
the
I know
question.
about copper dragons is that they're lazy.
Isn't that discrimination, Rob? Just saying.
I blame Gygax.
Acid breath and slow breath.
So, all right.
All right.
Now, not for nothing. Slow breath.
Yeah, I know. What good is it?
It's like, hold on a second. I got paralyzation breath. Wow.
Mhm.
I got slow breath.
Yeah,
all right.
useless.
In other words, you got like $6 million man video breath.
Mm-hmm.
I do find that feel my education in AD&D is lacking. I really can't remember the breath weapons of all the metallics. I mean, I know what they are: gold, silver, copper, bronze, and brass. But
it's also just senility setting in, Rob. I mean, we're all getting older. I get it. Who ran?
I don't think I can answer that. I couldn't answer that back in the day either.
Who ran the TSR UK subsidiary, which was founded in 1980 and went on to publish Imagine magazine?
Oh, Turnbull?
Don Turnbull.
I was close.
You were.
Yeah.
You were.
I knew without knowing.
All right. During the War of the Lance on Kryn, what magically elevated structure served the Dragon Army's melee as mobile command bases and troop transports?
They know they had a name, but there were those floating castles. I remember those.
Flying citadels. I love that. They were awesome.
Yeah, they were.
Flying citadels.
That was a cool. And you know that the word game, one of the modules was a word game. It was actually a pretty good word game.
I have it somewhere on the shelf. I remember
Dragons of
little chits and all
Glory.
that.
Dragons of Glory.
A lot of little chits in there, you know.
Yep.
Oh, what was the name of Gary Gygax's regular column in Dragon Magazine?
Sages. No, from the Sorcerer's Scroll.
Boom. Got it. All right. No, it's easy. The easiest thing to do is to look at the answers to see if they might be at all interesting or something like that. And then I'll read the question, you know. Oh. What did the club acronym LGTSA, from which TSR took its name, stand for?
Tactical Studies Rules.
No. What?
Well, wait a minute. Repeat that again.
What did the club acronym LGTSA?
Lake Geneva Tactical Study, whatever.
LG.
You got 4 out of 5, Eric. Lake Geneva
Tactical Studies Association.
Boom. You got it. All right. Oh, here we go. What industry awards trophy enshrines the remains of a copy of TSR's 1984 Adventures of Indiana Jones?
Oh, the Diana Jones Awards.
You got it. Yeah. What is the name of Strahd's nightmare steed? Ooh, that's a deep one.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Midnight.
It is a reference to the favorite horse of Alexander the Great.
Well, it starts with the letter B. I can't pronounce it.
Beucephalus. Bucephalus. It's kind of
Bucephalus.
Yeah.
I wonder why they used that. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah. What is Tracy Hickman's original planned title for Ravenloft?
No fucking clue.
Vampyr. Vampyr. All right. Let's see. I don't know those who are. What the hell are you talking about? Oh, this might be interesting. What monster appeared alone in the Q section of the 1977 Monster Manual?
Closet.
Boom. All right.
Oh, that's a bummer.
A Kaolinth, Koalinth, is an aquatic variant of what humanoid creature?
Hobgoblin?
Yeah. All right. That's cool. Jeez. Some video game questions. Wild. What the hell is Wild Beyond the Witchlight? What is that? Is that one of the newer shit that nobody likes and buys?
I think so.
Yeah.
There's your old man on the front porch. Get off my lawn moment.
Mm-hmm. What kind of ooze has the same name as a British dish made from pig's blood?
What kind of what?
Ooze.
Black pudding.
Black pudding. Yes. I want to get to England someday. See all that old stuff. I want to see. I
don't think you want black pudding though.
No. I'll skip the black pudding, but I want to see Stonehenge and all that kind of shit. You know, be kind
I
of
agree.
fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Actually, what's going to be in the cards for me is the Netherlands. Kellyanne wants to go to Holland.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, weed's legal there, man.
Put your finger in the dike.
Yeah, there's a lot of kinky sex there too. So yeah, to Eric's point.
Try some wooden shoes there, Rob.
Of course, you would bring that up, Joe.
What type? Oh, Eric's talking about fingering dykes. What type of chaotic evil creature were called Tenari in 2nd edition AD&D?
Demons.
Yes. Do you remember the devil one?
Bayatsu.
B-A-A-apostrophe-T-Z-U.
Yeah.
Bayatsu.
They called them Batazoos or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we called them Bayatsu. Yeah, it was all Biatz shit.
Let's see. Here we go. Here's interesting for any Forgotten Realms people. The 1987 module under Ilfarn starts south of Waterdeep on Farron's Sword Coast, in which town, which is named after a dangerous river crossing.
Daggerford?
Boom! Wow, look at that. I didn't think you had a lot of Forgotten Realms knowledge in, Eric.
Ilfarn is one of my go-to adventures.
Oh, really? I've
Yeah,
never played it.
it was one of the good ones. In fact, it wasn't in the Forgotten Realms series. It was in the End series, no less.
Yep. All right. N4 was Treasure Hunt.
Speaking of modules, what 1985 expert module combined War Machine and battle system rules to stage a large-scale military conflict against the desert nomads?
The AD&D companion set or the rules compendium? I think it's if you're talking box set, it's the companion.
No, module, Rob.
Well,
What
module,
85 module combined War Machine and battle system rules?
Oh, it's one of the desert ones. Master of the Desert Nomads or something like that.
No, X10, Red Arrow, Black Shield.
It is one of the desert series, though.
Here's
That's
one.
the series that was one of the. It was part of a series of 2 or 3 modules that had to deal with this guy in the desert raising an armed force.
Here's one. What external firm did Wizards of the Coast commission to develop 2015 Out of the Abyss and Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide?
External. Well, it's not Kobold Press. They did the Dragon one. Who's the other one other than Kobold Press?
He was big in the 3rd edition days, but now he's not doing too much with D&D related shit.
Wasn't Monty?
No. Promise. Chris Promise.
Oh,
Green
Chris
Ronin.
Promise. Green Ronin.
Oh, Chris Promise.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Oh, what module was published first? Tomb of Horrors or Vault of the Drow?
Repeat that again.
Which module was published first? Tomb of Horrors or Vault of the Drow?
Tomb of Horrors.
Vault. It was Vault.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I know they both had the pastel colors, so it remains my favorite D&D covers of all time. In fact, screen share. Go on, Joe. I'll get this set up.
In a fight versus a Balrog versus a Balrog versus a Baelor, who would win?
Between what and what?
The Balrog and a Baelor.
Oh, the dice
They're
weight.
equivalents.
They are equivalent. That's not the actual question. I was just curious. Who do you guys think would win, a Balrog or a Baelor? They're pretty close. I don't know who would win. Now I'm not throwing it out to the crowd here. Mr. Gunn says Balrog. Any Baelor people? Any Baelor fans out there? Represent.
I know I can run a simulator, but they have too many special abilities, so you would actually have to game out.
Yeah, you have to fight it out and see.
So if you want to share my screen, Eric, this is how much I like the pastel colors. I made it to my primary. I made a wallpaper out of it.
Very nice.
Oh, nice, man. Nice.
Right.
All right, Rob, here's a Judges Guild question. Show off. In what Judges Guild product did Dave Arneson publish maps and keys of his Blackmoor dungeon after leaving TSR?
First, fantasy campaign.
Boom.
Check my blog for the four-part review.
All right. Let's see here. What demon prince is credited with the creation of the first chimeras? I didn't know anybody did.
Asmodeus.
Demogorgon. Who knew?
Was one of 6 of one, a half dozen of the other.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up with one more here. The demon lord Grazit has sired numerous offspring with humanoids. What type of creatures are his progeny?
Mongrelman.
Oh, this is an easy one. I'm surprised you guys are stumbling here. This was an easy gimme.
I'm trying to dig up that desktop image I used so I can upload it for other people to use.
The answer is Cambions, boys and girls.
Cambions.
He's a demon lord, so any of his progeny are Cambions. You know, if they're with humanoids.
Yes.
Succubi, minotaurs. Oh man, weak sauce. Weak sauce. Yeah. So Eric, I'm gonna give this thing a shot next week. For our next game. It's not this coming week, it's the following. But this whole Roll20 thing that they're doing with Discord, I'm gonna try to get it in there, try to figure
Yeah,
it out.
no, it should be interesting. It reminds me of the Hangout days.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Google
Yeah, it should be
Hangout.
fun.
Roll20 was integrated into Google Hangouts,
Mm-hmm.
and we were so thankful it was because the built-in voice and video from Roll20 was always, all right, can't hear Keith, but I can see Keith.
Mm-hmm.
I can see I can't see Greg, but I can hear Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't hear Dave at all. You know, I was like, oh,
It really was a pain, yes. Yeah, Roll20 sucked. I know it's gotten better, but so many old habits die hard kind of a thing, you know.
Yep.
At this point, we're just like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just keep doing it. I mean, that's what we do, right? We just keep rolling the same Discord setup, you know.
Fuck it all, man. Fuck it all.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm going to give it a try, but it's going to have too many missing features, I think, at first, except for the most basic games. And, but, you know, I think they might get it right. I mean, Discord is that big and.
Right. Well, I think it has dynamic lighting right from the start, which I don't
Well, if they have dynamic,
That's good.
I'll give it a try if they have dynamic lighting.
Yeah. So.
That's good. I mean, I think it'll be okay, but how many people have one screen anymore? You know what I'm saying? That you need to have, right? I mean, it's like at this point, you have Roll20 on my right screen. I have Discord and some shit on my left screen, and I have Discord taking up half the left screen to see your guys' mugs, and then the other half is like my notes or the character sheets from Roll20. On the right hand screen is all Roll20. That's all it is. That's all.
Well, you know, I have triple monitors.
Yeah, Tim does too, and so he does it nice and easy, you know.
I've only got two, but I've got my main screen, and then on my side, I always have Discord.
And also, not only have triple monitors, two of them are in landscape mode, so I can just throw up Adobe PDF and just read it like it's actually the same size as the actual book. I have a link for you coming up for anybody who wants to download that wallpaper.
Oh, you made it up? This is you made that wallpaper, right, Rob?
Yeah, I made that wallpaper.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not available, you know.
Not available in stores, folks.
Yeah, not available in stores. So
Such
now
generosity.
I gotta all right. Oops. Where do you want me to post it in
a private chat? Just put in a private chat. I'll grab it.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh yeah. So just center it and arrange your icons around it like I did, and you can enjoy the old pastel modules.
Hold on. Now I gotta get back to the comments, though. Gotta get back to the comments.
Yeah, the 30th, Flint. Roll those dice, roll them well. Eric, do you know Tim showed me this? Looking at the in the comment section where you just post the link in there, if you, in the very bottom next to if you were to write something, it says all, right? If you click the little drop down there, you can post as yourself.
Oh shit! Ned, no idea.
You know what I mean? So because when you do it like that, you post as me and you and everybody. You know what I mean? So it just saves a little time. I never even
realized that. Yeah, you're. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Tim showed me that. You just happened to notice it. I'm like, oh shit, that's nice. All right, we'll do that.
Man.
Oh, yeah, it worked out good. You know, that way you could type in there and it's not coming across as 5 different times for
right.
You know,
jeez, confusion.
Yeah.
Well,
not bad.
Folks. By the way, folks, I got the haircut just for you all.
Eric, when are you gonna? I heard you talking about the raffle, man. You know, me and your niece did that time. We got to do this again, dude.
We got to do it again. We got to figure out.
Not a raffle, whatever it was, like fundraiser. I'm sorry, fundraiser.
But we did the yoga thing with to raise the money for the.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
All right.
Next live stream is tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Gamers Health, me and Rach. Next Wednesday, folks, we announced it at the beginning, but we're going to announce it now. Again, Wednesday, we are going to have apparently more than one special guest. But we are having an actor who has been screwed over by Ken Whitman in the film industry. He's coming on to talk about Ken. And then I believe
got-
Jim
you-
Kitchen is going to talk about his interactions with Ken and some of Ken's history. So if you want to know about Ken Whitman more than you'd ever want to know, and why you probably should avoid him in your financial dealings,
He's
Wednesday
involved in
would be the show.
films. He's in the film industry too.
You didn't know that?
No, what the hell is he doing in the film industry?
Oh my God! Well, he's been involved in the Atlanta film industry. In the Atlanta film industry, I spoke with the woman that he was basically taking advantage of. She was actually doing his laundry and cooking for him, but he was supposed to get her like positions in like movies, and that never happened.
Yeah.
Then there was a black film company. He was their PR guy. Don't ask me how that happened. I don't
Jesus.
think it lasted. More recently, he's been doing Immortal or some movie with this wrestler, last name was Snow, who I never heard of. But in any case, there was a school for acting which was paid to be in this movie. And then there was a nonprofit for youth in the area
Hmm.
that were being used as, I think, extras and like your film crew. So they were learning the trade as he was getting people to pay him to be in a movie that apparently has never come out. We're going to hear more about this on Wednesday.
Jesus
I
Christ.
love hearing my Ken Whitman stuff. Ken literally, ooh, Jesus. Ken
You like that?
Ken literally is the you know like Mrs. O'Leary's cow like knocked over
Yeah.
the lantern and like burned down like half Chicago.
Hmm.
Well, Ken, the reason why we never got the Knights of the Dinner Table live action series is because he stored the hard drives that had
Well,
all
or the Traveler. That's the one he got me for.
Okay, but listen, for the live action series, he stored all those hard drives in a barn owned by his friend, and the barn burned down.
Oh, all right.
We learned that because somebody took him to court.
Hmm.
He had to explain to the court why the stuff wasn't available. So, it's going to be a good day on Wednesday. I will get the link up this weekend. I will share it on social media. I expect a big turnout. A big turnout. I expect Ken to show up. By the way, about a year ago, Ken showed up on our live stream on Wednesday and was commenting, and then emailed me his cell phone number because he wanted to come on the show.
Why? Why would he want that?
Because he wanted to tell the truth.
Oh. Okay.
I have one more link for you to share, Eric. I have a live stream interview with DM
Oh.
Bloodsworth.
Oh, nice.
Sunday at 8:00 Eastern time.
Folks, sharing the link right now. It's in the chat. Go ahead and grab it. DM Bloodworth is really cool. He
Cool dude.
played in my Swords and Wizardry game at ShireCon. I've known him for a number of years. Apparently, we were supposed to do a podcast together years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, well, Vince was going to be the matchmaker. This is right before COVID. And then COVID hit, and then it never happened. But
Hey, you guys want to see something fun? I been going through the old directory of pictures and all that from an old hard drive. I one time had an interaction. Now, you guys know who Sam Witwer is? He's an actor and he does a lot of Star Wars stuff. He's involved in Lucasfilm. He does the voice of Maul, I think it was, in the cartoon. And he does a lot
of the Terminator films, right?
Yeah, I believe he might have been. He was definitely a little bit. He had a whole series called Being. What was that? It was like he was a vampire with a ghost and a werewolf all living together or something like that. He's a decent actor. He's made it somewhat famous in Hollywood. So I know he plays D&D. This is back in the old Twitter days, my old Twitter account, when Will Wheaton was still popular over there on Twitter. And remember, the Nerdist was doing his thing, and Felicia Day, all that whole era,
right.
And I remember Shatner was raising money for some charity. and I sent a message on Twitter to Shatner. It was the one and only interaction I had, and I screenshotted this whole thing. So I thought I lost it forever, and I found it the other day. I'm like, oh, this is fucking fantastic. Let me show you this thing. It's pretty cool. Where's a window? Boom.
Window.
There it is. So I wrote William Shatner, I'd pay to see you play in a Star Wars role-playing game GM'd by Sam Witwer, who was a Star Wars guy, Shatner, Star Trek guy. I thought that'd be kind of nice little crossover. So he responds, Joe the lawyer, has Sam ever GM'd anything? And I said,
he knows about role playing, huh?
He does. I was surprised. I said he has indeed. He's pretty good. It has massive charity fundraiser written all over it. And then I said, William Shatner, might I suggest as other players, Will Wheaton and Nerdist, plus me, of course. And Shatner comes back with, hey, how about Felicia Day and Skydart? Skydart was Whitwer's hot ass girlfriend back then. It's William Shatner channeling Captain Kirk. Let's get a hot chick involved here, right? And Felicia Day, he's like, let's get some hot chicks in this shit. So now I'm copying everybody, and we now have a full group. Make it so. And then he says, first have to help me with my charity, then we'll do Sam's thing. And then Sam Witwer chimes in, huh? Like, what? I don't know that it ever happened, but it was just one of those cool things that go down. It's like, that's a memory, I'm happy I found it again. That was a fun thing. Yeah. So I have on my resume, I've interacted with Shatner on Twitter. That was a fun day. Yeah. You get little things like that. You know what I mean? It's a little shit. That's
the unintended consequences of Joe the lawyer living his life. He broke Narnia, but he got Shatner to agree to a tabletop role-playing session.
Yeah, a Star Wars one at that. A Star Trek captain playing a Star Wars role-playing game, by a Star Wars actor with all the geeks. That was fun. That was fun. Anyway, with that,
we are going to bid thee all adieu. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Joe.
Anytime.
Thank you to Greg, who bowed out early because he was afraid of looking stupid with the trivia questions. But then again, he actually showed up. Where's Matt Jackson?
Matt never
see Matt Jackson at the same time as he.
No, wait a minute. Matt is here. If you want to see Matt, let me see. I have Matt. There we go.
Oh.
There you go.
I thought you were going to show a picture of Dyson.
No, I found the picture too of I don't know who did this picture, but it's Matt and I don't know who did this. It wasn't me because I don't write like this. It was Greg or somebody else that we were playing with back then when we were doing this thing. There it is. I don't always DM, but when I do it through expressive dance. I found one with a dildo in his mouth too. We all made fun of that. We got a lot of use out of that one screenshot I took when Matt was DMing.
We will not use that one on the show.
A very large one. It was a two-hander he was holding there, So yeah.
Well, you can take screenshot. We're gonna leave that up there for another minute. So you can take screenshots, but don't worry, you can always reach out to Joe.
Yeah, we got it.
We'll send it to you. Make it a meme.
Mm-hmm.
Make it a meme.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, Absolutely. Thank you so much. As always, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll is nice, roll them well. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Gamers Health, right here.
Thank you, Joe.
Mm-hmm. Anytime, Rob.
Wednesday, the Ken Whitman special. It's gonna be fun.
Later, everybody.
Laters.